Hey, peace, G's. This one for the guys. It's some game, that should have been in Legacy and Ink, but it's here. So don't forget, like, subscribe, to the channel. We're trying to get 1,000 subs by the end of this year. So before you keep watching this video, just like hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and just be supporting the goal, for this channel. But one thing I want to share is um, is going to be discussing these women who are in fantasy land. And if you are a young man, if you are an older man, you are dealing with this, this is for you. So you can either learn how to deal with it better or avoid it, right? So to avoid it, right, this is probably going to be for the young men. To avoid, a woman who is living in fantasy land, you have to see the signs before it gets deeper, right? And what are the signs? Um, Many times, a lot of women, will start off with you, uh, wanting to for you to play a fantasy, right? They have this vision and their idea that comes from either movies, from what their parents told them, from what they heard, but it's usually from an outside experience that they have this correlation. It's not from their own experience, right? A lot of times it won't be the girl who got flown out and did everything from another guy, right? Because she did it in her life. It'd be the girl who probably didn't get it, but always seen other women get it, right? Her friends, like I said, her parents, movies, they will be pretty romantic. They will be pretty just theatric in their whole idea of you, what it is you're doing, and then to be in that high area, right? So how you notice is the type of dates she want to go on, outings, how she speaks about romance, right? It's easy to kind of tell once you start paying attention to it, because you can easily fall in the trap of she's just being a girl, she's just being a girl, or a woman, right? But not all women are in that romantic fantasy world. So don't confuse that as being, oh, that's all women or that's all girls. No, that woman just has this connection to romance that is not tied to her, right? The romance she's seeking and the romance she want, and the romance you probably given her that she's falling, in love with is probably something she never got before. Meaning you are finally playing into her fantasy, right? Before you, people did not play into her fantasy, so she did not get that fulfilled. Here you come, paying for her dates, paying for this, taking her out every day, eating her and taking her to the restaurants. You are now the fantasy. You have now put yourself in her fantasy world, right? Um, and that is dangerous because now you are playing or have to keep up with the fantasy and not the real world. So a lot of brothers fall victim to this, and a lot of brothers fail because when they get with a girl, they do not see that if she's a romantic or this, they just see her. And once you deal with her after a few months, you realize, wow, this girl is living in a fantasy, and I'm supporting that. And that's going to be many cases. Um, so to avoid that, though, to avoid you finding out you're with a romantic woman or this fantasy woman, you have to really listen to her. You have to ask her questions. You have to, talk about certain things to her to see if she's thinking from the fantasy world or if she's thinking from the reality world. And then once you do that, you can make your judgment on, okay, she lived that life. She's not romanticizing about it because she lived it. If anything, she may want something different, right? But if she's saying stuff like so romanticizing and so, this may be a girl who never got, what you can give her. So be careful, tread lightly, and know that, um, you are the one, right? You are the one to make her fantasy come to life. Um, and again, that's your discernment. You have to know if you are with a woman who is in that position or not. Now, to the ones who are in it, there's a lot of brothers who may be in something that just went longer than needed, right? You may have given her more than just the fantasy world. You may have given her the dream. Right? You may have given her the dream life, right? You gave her the kids, you gave her home, you gave her the, quitting her job maybe, you gave her pretty much everything that she always wanted in her life, right? That no other man obviously gave her. So to those brothers who are in that, right, I want you guys to, mind you, a lot of these brothers are not happy though. So listen, brother, I know that you picked a woman years ago that you thought was the best, the one. And then as time went on, she started to expose herself. You started to see more sides. You started to gain clarity. You started to be more aware. Um, even though it took you, to where it took you, better late than never. And once you woke up and realized that you were with this type of woman, um, it may have been a little, too deep. She may have got a kid out you, and I mean, started a family and moved in together. All this stuff that happens, right? But now you're starting to see that the vision that you had as a relationship or marriage or whatever the case may be is now turned into her vision. And this is her life that's playing out, not yours. This is her life that you are supporting, not yours. And many, many, many brothers are in this position right now, um, afraid to share, their feelings, afraid to speak on it, afraid to lose what they built, right? You take pride in what you built, even though it may be with somebody, that, you're not as fond of anymore. Um, and a lot of brothers don't know what to do, suffer in silence, um, make that abrupt decision and leave and face scrutiny and face, the backlash and all that. Um, or simply just conform. A lot of brothers are conforming right now to the reality that they have. Um, and as much as I am trying to push these younger brothers to make better decisions, um, I have to have some empathy and sympathy for the older brothers in this case, uh, for not making those better decisions for what they did not know. Right? Those brothers did not have videos or people like me during their time and to kind of open up that side of the brain or that awareness. Right? Um, so they just go with it and year and year after year after year after year just dealt with it. Um, but in recent times, we have many men, dying, suicide, stress, not knowing what to do because they aren't happy. They may feel like they were a selfish woman. And this is things that I don't want to see the newer brothers dive into or be prevented if they can. Right? You don't have to start a family with a woman you don't like because you realize you don't like her before y'all started the family. And that's where these younger brothers have to make the better decisions to not continue to be with that woman after they realize, said feelings. They have to make the choice to not keep loving on a woman that makes them feel not complete, not the whole, right? These are the decisions that have to be made, the sacrifices that have to be made in order to avoid that unhappy, miserable, resenting life. And I don't want the young brothers to grow up in resentment. I don't want there to be another group of black brothers resenting the women that they picked, resenting their choices, feeling ashamed, feeling, beaten by their choices. Um, because the truth of the matter is, once we know better, we do better. Again, so if you still listening to this, please, like, share, subscribe, send this out to your group, to your guys, because we need to be aware that we are in the power, right? We have these choices and free will to do things, to not do things. So while we was looking at, the older generation being with, miserable auntie and, domestic violence and just abusing the women, we can avoid that by making better decisions and becoming more aware of who and what it is that we are doing and who and what it is, you know, we are doing it to. All right. So as young men, again, this is the energy frequency on just becoming more happier, you know, not dealing with women who you are aiding into their fantasy, but a woman where y'all are creating a life together. Um, and that life together should not be rooted in fantasy world and should not be rooted in ideologies that um, is a dream. Yeah, make your girl happy. Yeah, support her, love her. But if it's coming from the foundation of a vision or a fantasy or a dream, um, that is not, bound to a real life thing in the real world, it's constantly going to be a kind of like transactional relationship, and that's what another conversation, but that's usually what it is. The more you do to make her happy, the more, I guess she can make you happy. But the less you do that make her happy, the less she'll make you happy. And partnerships and building and things are not like that. It's not you came in today sad, now I'm gonna be sad back. It's like, no, you came in today sad. How can I help you feel better to get you to feel better? And a lot of women do not be in that headspace. A lot of women do not want a man's negative energy. They do not want his energy if it is not fun, if it is not caring. Um, they don't want it, right? Because they only want what they want. So yeah, man, pay attention to how your girl talk to you and your feelings. Pay attention to her responses when you do share your feelings, and listen to what she say she wants out of life. You do those three things, you will guarantee you find out if you are with a woman who is romantic and living in her fantasy world, or a woman who is a realist and understands reality and understands the truth of the nature, right? So again, this is my frequency just for the guys. Again, like, subscribe, share with this video, so that way you can avoid these women, or you can better deal with the current women you have. So you can continue to live your life, but in a more authentic and happier way for yourself. Peace and carpe diem.